What's going on, guys? I'm Bill and welcome to Bill's How-To. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to patch a large hole, whether it's in your wall or your ceiling. The process is going to be exactly the same. Let's get straight into it, guys. Let's do this. Alright guys, so this here is the hole that we're dealing with. The first thing you want to do is just clear out the area. If you need to match up the paint, this is a perfect place to take a little sample just like that to your local hardware store or paint store. Get that one there color matched, ready to go. So we're just going to remove any of that loose material, figure out just how badly damaged it is around. And that'll pretty much do it right there at the edge. So we're basically going to now measure up our area. So something else to keep in mind is just put your hand inside and feel for the studs. Now we've got a stud right here up along the side, so we need to make sure that we don't cut any further back this way here. Otherwise we're going to have to also put some support back here. So we're just going to measure from here over to the edge of our damage, and we have right there about 210. We'll also measure our height, 210 by about 250. So now we've got a scrap piece of drywall, gyprock sheet, sheetrock, plasterboard, whatever it is that you guys like to call it. It's the exact same product, different name all around the world. So we're just going to measure up a piece. It doesn't have to be exact. So we'll measure it from up here. About 250, and we said by about 210, I think it was. So 210. Like I said, it doesn't have to be exact, as long as it's a little bit bigger. That's all that matters. Now we can take a utility blade and we can cut this section here out. And the reason why I didn't go hard up against this edge here is just because I'm not too sure if it's really that square or if there's any damage on the back end of it. So I can easily cut this one here off. We just score the paper. Then you can fold it, snap it right in half and cut the back side. Now one there's already given way. Once more, we've got a little piece up on top, snap it, score it, cut the paper, and we've got our piece ready to go. So now we're going to take our piece, lay it over the top, make sure we've completely covered the hole. Once we're happy with the position, we then trace around the edge. And what I like to do is just put an arrow so I know which way it's facing when I put the piece back in, and now we can cut this section here out. So we can now take a saw, Now everything's cleaned out. The piece that we've cut should fit straight inside nicely. What we're going to do now is put some backing support to support our new piece. So for our backing support, we're just going to use some off-scrap pieces of timber. We're just going to quickly measure up. Now you want the piece of timber to go a little bit further down, a little bit above, say about 100, 200 mil. So if we cut it at 500, we'll cut two pieces. Pretty much almost right in half. Doesn't have to be exact once again. Now we can take our piece of timber, slide it in behind, and we're going to secure this with screws. Just hold the back of it while you screw it in. Once again on the other side. Now when we take our new piece, that should drop straight in. And we've got a perfect fit, nicely supported. So what we're going to do at this point is put in a couple more screws to secure our new piece in, back in line with our pieces of timber. Take a scraper, clean off the edges. And now we're ready to fill this in. So for our base coat, what we're going to be using is some quick set. Now if you want a quick set to dry even quicker, add a little bit of warm water, and this one here is going to set really quick. So what we're going to do is quickly fill in these gaps. Then I'm going to be using some tape over the top. Now the tape that we're using, I've been trying out fiber fuse fairly frequently these days because I really love it. It's actually a lot easier to use than mesh and paper tape. It fuses really nicely and it lays really nice and flat. So we're going to be using this one here today. Like I said, fill in our joints first. Push that material all the way in. Alright, so now we've got everything pushed into any of those little gaps that there might have been. We're going to apply just a little bit of a bed all the way around. Once we've got that, we can then apply our tape. Now one of the best things about this tape is just how easy it is, it cuts. So we'll just line it up and it's ready to go. Put another one on the other side. Another one here. Little piece here, try not to overlap your tape. And then you can smooth everything off. And what you'll notice with this tape is that it fuses into the compound, which makes it really easy for it to sit nice and flat, and you don't have to press that hard at all. So now we've got the tape embedded, you can go over the top of that, smooth it all off, especially because we're using quickset. It'll dry up nicely, and we may get away with just 2 coats. I'm going to also fill in those little pinholes. And now we're just going to let this one here dry off. Shouldn't take too long, probably about 20 minutes. And then we can apply a second coat of all-purpose. Once that's dry, scrape off any high spots that you might have. And you can apply your second coat. A little bit wider than it was originally. Just make sure to feather it all off. Now I'm cheating here, I am using the quick set once again. As long as you feather it off nicely, you shouldn't have an issue, because sanding this stuff once it's dry is an absolute nightmare. So just make sure you feather out your edges. Pull out a little bit wider. And now we let this one here dry once again, give it a light sand, and it should be ready for painting. And once the area is dry, you can then give it a light sand with 120 grit sandpaper. And once the wall's been painted, this is the finished product. So we've got a perfect finish. Once again, I'll show you guys a bit of a side view. You can see that's nice and flat all the way throughout. There's no way you could tell there was previous damage there. Now that you guys have a video, get out there and give it a go yourself. This is an easy task that anybody out there can do themselves, especially because this is a very common problem. So get out there and give it a go. Hopefully you've enjoyed it and you've learned something new. As always, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Bill. Thanks for watching Billshowto.